Hey everybody, I'm Nelson. I'm the Living Card Gamer, and today we are taking a look at the scenarios that came out in the Mirkwood Cycle. So this would be the core set, and then the following 6 cycles in the little plastic packs that come after it, and ranking those in kind of a tier system, which we'll explain here in a little bit, to see which one is my favorite. Before we hop into it, if you could give this video a like or a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Living Card Game content, I'd really appreciate it. Alrighty, so I just finished the Mirkwood Cycle. Well, I didn't just finish it, I just had the idea of doing these videos, and I'm about to finish the Dolgor cycle, so the second cycle. So I think if you were, a betting person, you could probably bet that you're going to see one of these videos for that cycle as well. But I wanted to sit back and kind of rank how fun I thought that each one of these scenarios was or is, right? I mean, we can always go back and play them. And so we're going to do that using kind of a tier ranking system, which I think we're going to put like maybe right here. And if I decide to put it somewhere else after a post, then this is going to look really weird. But anyways, we're going to kind of put it into 4 different categories. And so the top category is going to be excellent. The second category is going to be like really interesting, intriguing. The third category is meh. It's like whatever. And then the last one is a swing and a miss. It's something that I just probably wouldn't go back and play it unless I'm actually playing through the cycle again. It's not one I'm going to be pulling out to play over and over and over again. So without further ado, let's start into it. So one thing that I will note is that I'm playing this progression style, so I'm only really opening the packs and using the cards that were available at that quest time. And so going back through them, I think that some of these may jump up or down based on the card pool that you have available to you. So like we'll get to it when we'll talk about it when we get to Dolgor, but not a great quest, right? I mean, it's kind of interesting, which I guess I'm maybe showing my hand here a little bit, but it is one of those that's hard to justify with just the core set. It's going to be very hard to win. But without doing any more spoilers, let's talk about the passage through Mirkwood. So this is the first scenario of the game, which means that it's probably going to be pretty straightforward. It's, kind of interesting that there are like 2 third stages of the main quest, where either you're going to have to fight the Ungula spawn, or you're going to need to quest for a lot and kill all the spiders. And so there is a little bit of interestingness that goes on there, but it's meh for me. I mean, it's going to be not something that is really more than a let's try this deck out for me. So in that case, we're gonna put it right here in the meh category. I was pretty proud of how interesting my categories were. So that's the first scenario. The second scenario, also in the core set, is called Journey Along the Anduin. So this one is a little bit more exciting. You are fighting a hill troll. So part of the setup in Journey Along the Anduin is to put a hill troll into play, which has 9 health. It swings for like 6. It does absurd amounts of damage. And when you first see it, coming from passage through Mirkwood, you're like, how am I ever going to win this scenario? This isn't an unwinnable scenario, which is not the case, but it feels like it, and it makes you start to think about the game a little bit differently. I also really like this scenario because of it shows a lot of the different aspects of the game. So there's a lot of encounter so you start out with the hill troll, you have to kill the hill troll to progress into stage 2, and then you're flipping more encounter cards, and a lot of these enemies you're not making engagement checks, but then in round 3 you have to kill everything on the table. And so there's a lot of different aspects of the game that you get to see and experience, and for that I think it's a phenomenal level 2 or like second quest of the entire saga. And so that I'm going to throw it in that really interesting category because it is kind of one that I am excited about. It throws wrenches into the plan, so that's kind of fun. Also, real quick, I am using the nightmare packs, like the art for the nightmare packs, to do the tier system, but I am only talking about like the core set. I'm not actually talking about the nightmare version of it. There just wasn't individual art that I wanted to use outside of just the nightmare pack. So that's why you're seeing nightmare on there. Not really. Alrighty, so that brings us into our third scenario, which is the infamous escape from Dolgor. So this scenario is brutal, right? So you start out with a hero being captured where you actually have to turn them down, face down. Playing a hero down 33% lower on your heroes makes it super hard to start building. You're not gaining resources for that. If you're running a tri-sphere deck, you're locked out of a third of your deck probably. So it just makes it really hard to build, and especially solo. This quest is, I would say, the closest thing to impossible to win solo if you're playing progression style that there is. At least that what I've seen, right? I've not made it through Shadow and Flame yet, but it's tough. So you're progressing through. You finally do get that hero back. They come in a little bit damaged, and then you're trying to escape Dolgor, the Nazgul attack. It is a fully involved quest. It seems very just a lot is going on, a lot is coming at you. It's very, very, very difficult, especially as solo, especially with just the core set of cards. This one is going to be a meh for me just because of how brutal it is. And we're going to put it right in front of Passage Through Mirkwood because it is a little bit more interesting to me, and I'm excited to come back and play it again, maybe with the expanded card pool. But as of right now, we're sitting in the meh category. So the first scenario that comes after the core set is the Hunt for Gollum. So this scenario is kind of interesting. So the story is you're looking for Gollum, and as you're going through all of these, things start to happen. You get taken down different areas, and so you're looking for Gollum. And there's just a lot of encounter cards to try and get signs of Gollums, which are these objective cards that you're looking for. And you cannot win unless you have one of these. And so as you're going through, and if you're playing through it blind, this comes as a huge shock, but as you're playing through, once you get to 3B, if you ever don't have a sign of Gollum objective card, then you automatically result right back to 2B and have to start that quest all over, or that quest stage all over. So it seems tedious to me. I didn't love it. This one's gonna be a swing and a miss for me. It didn't really click. It felt more frustrating than exciting, right? You have to go through this deck of cards to try and find these signs of Gollum. There are things that discard them, and especially playing through kind of progression style, there really wasn't a great way that I found to just kind of assure that. And when I was playing through it just kind of felt like, oh, I got it or I didn't. And so for that, it's a swing and a miss for me. Alrighty, let's move on to Conflict at the Carrick. So this scenario is pretty fun. And it's one of those that you have to start to really start thinking about deck building, because there are these 4 unique trolls, and these trolls come out as you progress, and so you want to progress into the second stage of the quest when you're ready. And that's something that this quest kind of started highlighting for me as understanding when I want to progress into the next stage, because it's not always just a race. You don't always want to win as quickly as possible, because if you come into this second stage and you're not ready to take on these very intimidating trolls, then you can get burnt real quickly. And so managing that quest and understanding exactly when you need to push and come back a little bit from your willpower from your testing, from your questing, it is really, really fun for me. So this one knocked it out of the park. I absolutely love the Conflict at the Carrick. I thought it was a pretty challenging scenario. It was one that was fun to build around. You lost a lot. It was fun. It was one of these where you just kept trying new things and figuring out what heroes and allies worked for you. And so Conflict at the Carrick, excellent. Loved it. So this takes us to our next quest, which is a journey to Rosco. And so this is kind of the quest that I started to realize how deep this game can get and how different the quests are going to be as I'm progressing through it. Because this one's kind of a timed quest. So in this quest, you are escorting Wellador, who is an eagle, who is an injured eagle, and you're trying to get them to safety so that they can be healed. And he takes damage each round. If Wellador ever dies, then you lose the scenario. And so you need to be progressing through, but you also need to be looking for certain cards in the deck, like there's certain cards that heal him once you progress onto the final stage of the quest. And again, if you're playing blind, you've switched to the final stage of the quest, the game's over, right? So it's kind of one of these like really interesting fun puzzles to figure out. So this is also an excellent, this is going to go in front of Conflict at the Carrick for me. I absolutely adored this quest. I thought it was a really fun puzzle to figure out. And so we're going to take this right up here into Excellent and throw it in front of a Conflict at the Carrick. 2 Excellents in a row. Let's see if the Hills of Immen Mule can stand up to it. So this is a 1-stage quest, which is kind of interesting. You need 20 victory points in order to progress through it. And a lot of the encounter deck have victory points printed on them. You start out with some that are in the staging area. And it honestly, to me, it just felt like a slog. It was just, you just had to sit there and wait for victory points to come out. I mean, like, you could use like Denethor or other cards that kind of control the encounter deck a little bit to get you through it, but and get those victory point cards out that you wanted. But I mean, it felt like, you know, you put Northern Tracker out there, you just clear it and just wait for you to get 20 victory points and just hope you survived. It was a swing and a miss for me. I'm putting it after the Hunt for Gollum. I honestly probably would never come out and play this quest again. I'll play through it again when I'm going through Nightmare. I'll play through it again, you know, if I'm doing the cycle, but it's not one that I am ever excited to try again. So unfortunate. So we had 2 rock stars and then and then the dud. The second to last quest in this cycle is called the Dead Marshes, and we're getting a little bit closer to capturing Gollum at this point. And I mean, he's a card in the game where he's making these escape tests, and if you fail the escape test, then counters get put on him. And if you get, like, I think it's 8 counters, then he runs away back into the deck and you have to find him, and you're not going to be able to win the scenario unless you have Gollum. And so the escape tests are kind of interesting. You have to commit characters as if you were like questing with them, and then reveal cards from the deck, and they have an escape value on them. And if your willpower is above the escape value, then he doesn't take these counters. But this creates a fun kind of puzzle to figure out of, I need to quest, you need to quest to win this, but you also need to reserve some characters that have enough willpower to quest, but not enough, and save them for the escape test. And so that was really fun, interesting to try and balance out. And so this one comes right in the really interesting category, and it's going to be like right after Journey. But I thought that it was a fun challenge, and it's going to be one that I'm going to be excited to go back to. So the last scenario in this cycle is Return to Mirkwood, which is absolutely not an easy scenario whatsoever. However, I think it's a really fun one. So we'll kind of spoiler alert, but we'll get to kind of where it falls here in a second. But this one, you've actually captured Gollum, and you're trying to bring him back to Mirkwood. And in this case, he's not in the staging area. He's actually on your side of the board, and he has 5 health. And if he ever dies, then you lose the game. And so what you need to be doing is managing his health to make sure that he is not dying. Which sounds easy because it's like, okay, just don't let him get attacked. But any undefended damage goes directly to Gollum instead of one of your heroes. And so you always have to be ready and have someone able to be defending that damage, or maybe use cards like a feint or something to prevent enemies from attacking, so that he's not taking too much damage. The other wrench in the plan here is that Gollum raises the threat of the player guarding him by 3, and so you're going to need some threat reduction, or you're going to want to start pretty low on your threat dial to make sure that he is not just going to threat you out real quick. This has 4 stages. Stage 3, the player guarding to Gollum cannot play any cards, and so playing solo, you really have to start planning for that, and make sure that your board is built, and try and rush through that stage 3 as quickly as possible. And then at stage 4, every single monster will engage the player guarding Gollum, and so the player needs to be ready for that. If you're playing solo, if there's anything in that staging area, you got to be ready for it to come and get you. This one is excellent. I'm going to put this excellent right after Conflict at the Carrick. That is, you know, third in my ranking. I really like the ones that are complex and have a lot of things going on and that require specific deck building. And I think, you know, the scenario or the ranking here kind of shows that, but that's it. That's kind of it. So those are the 9 quests. We're gonna dive in and do the Dwarf cycle here once I finish that. But if you are interested, I'm gonna put the link of this tier maker list below, so you can go in, you can rank your own, and then send them over maybe through the Discord. So if you want, go join the Discord and shoot your rankings over to us. Let us take a look at them, because everyone kind of likes different parts of this game, so I'm excited to see what you all enjoy. But that is the list. I hope you liked it. Leave a comment below if you disagree or agree with my list, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.